Silver gold hair, piercing purple eyes, and pale skin are the physical traits the Targaryens have that set them apart from the rest of this fake world. The family's unique appearance wasn't always this unique. Targaryen's ancestral homeland, Valyria, was full of similar-looking people, and the most powerful Valyrians, the ones who could control dragons, made it a cultural tradition to partake in incestuous marriages, to keep their bloodline as pure as possible, and keep the dragon-taming magic to them and them only. A lot of older Valyrian traditions have been lost to time when the Targaryens migrated to Westeros, but incest somehow stuck around over the generations. And to keep this gross tradition alive, in a part of the world that considers it a sin against all gods, the Targaryens argued that they are closer to gods than other men. Their proof was in their fire and blood magic, that no one else quite figured out. Plus, there's the added buff to heat resistance and stronger immunity to illnesses and disease, still far from fireproof or completely immune to all ailments. So what happens if their precious genetics are mixed with others? There's only so many brothers and sisters around to pair up. There still also needed to be beneficial alliances created. And then there are the bastards. The first known character with Targaryen blood to have no Targaryen features was Orys Baratheon, a bastard half-brother to the first king of Westeros, Aegon the Conqueror. Both shared the same father, who ruled Dragonstone, but it seems Orys' mother may have been a commoner. The Baratheon's family tree even recently got an extra dose of Targaryen DNA, with Robert Baratheon and his brothers having a pale-haired Targaryen grandmother. But their dominant genes just overshadowed the others. If Orys was presented a dragon or egg, which he wasn't, would he have had any success taming it? Absolutely. We know this because of Rhaenys Targaryen, one of the major characters in House the Dragon, with the dominant Baratheon gene. Yes, the show made her as Targaryen looking as possible, but in the lore books, she's described as large and fierce. She had the black hair of her Baratheon mother and the pale violet eyes of her Targaryen father. Mostly Baratheon looking, with the added purple eyes. And she tamed the Red Queen Meleys, forming a bond with her dragon. This is the reason I wanted to look through all the dark-haired Targaryens, and see how diluted their magical blood can be before dragons start treating them like common man. The Targaryens' genes aren't as recessive as you would think, comparing it to real-world blondies. In Orys, Rhaenys, and Robert's case, it's just a Baratheon seed being insanely strong. Research that Robert's adopted father, Lord Jon Arryn, conducted. That's why Jon and Ned start to believe Joffrey, Myrcella, and Tommen are full-blown Lannisters. They don't have the large build and dark thick hair. Stannis, the only living Baratheon brother, may have enough Targaryen blood to tame a dragon himself. That would be a crazy plot twist. After Rhaenys came her cousin Rhaenyra's 3 sons that she had with Sir Harwin Strong. The Strong seed is also very strong, judging by Jacaerys, Viserys, and Joffrey. But all 3, like Rhaenys, become dragon riders. So having only one Targaryen parent doesn't limit their abilities. Unfortunately for us, the next dark-haired Targaryen in the family tree is the infamous legitimized bastard Aegon Rivers, aka Bittersteel. Dragons went extinct by the time he came into this world. Prince Baelor, another dark-haired Targaryen, was born a generation after Bittersteel, and this is when the rumors started spreading about the heir to the Iron Throne not looking very Targaryen-like. His mother was a Martell, and this union brought Dorne into the Seven Kingdoms, finally resolving the Targaryen-Martell conflict. But years of war developed into some resentment and racism, while whispers spread about Baelor's dark hair making him more Dornish than court would have liked. He went and married outside the family, like his father. Baelor married the lady Jenna Dondarrion. For context on their appearance, Barracks also Dondarrion, and I believe he had red hair in the books. Baelor never lived long enough to sit on the Iron Throne, but if he did, and his line continued, Daenerys' equivalent in the family tree may have never been Targaryen enough to bond with a dragon. We see what happens when a character, the drop of Targaryen blood, attempts to tame a dragon. The Martell marriage into the Targaryen family was a double wedding, which means House Martell claims descent from a silver-haired, purple-eyed princess named Daenerys, who the current story Dany is named after. Baelor's nephew, Daeron Targaryen, an incompetent alcoholic, got a second dose of Dornish genetics, giving him sandy brown hair. Dragons were gone, but a different type of Targaryen magic was tested this generation. Dragon dreams. Like some before and after him, Daeron had prophetic visions haunting him. And now for that Martell dragon taming attempt. Oberyn's nephew, Prince Quentyn Martell, believes his ancestry would be enough to tame either Viserion or Rhaegal in the books. He barges into their lair in Meereen and is burned to death after he pulls out a whip trying to tame one. So the threshold is somewhere between Quentyn and Rhaenys. There's about 5 generations separating Quentyn and his great-great-great-granny Daenerys. He was all Martell by the time Rhaegal roasted him. He didn't have the hair, eyes, magic, or even the unnatural beauty that all believe Targaryens have. Though the Martell gene isn't as dominant as the Baratheons. Rhaegar, Dany and Viserys' long-dead older brother, also married a Martell princess, Oberyn's sister Elia. Their daughter was all Martell, so much so that the Mad King complained she smelled Dornish, as a racist remark. But Rhaegar and Elia's son Aegon was all Targaryen, like his dad. It's just a coin flip. So if Jon Snow turns out to be Rhaegar's third child in the books, like how Game of Thrones unfolded, he'll have no problem taming either Rhaegal or Viserion, unlike poor Quentyn Martell.